When will the critical mass be reached? The critical mass, where everything changes. If we look back on human history, we can see that the main thing in the minds of most human beings has been fear. Fear. Not having enough. Not being able to get by. And because of this fear, well, all the ailments, angst and traumas of the world have been created. If we always thought that we had enough, we would never go hungry, we'd always have shelter, we'd always have communion and communication with other human beings in a friendly manner, everything would change for the better. Now you might think, can this ever happen? If we study history, there's nothing but wars, interminable wars which go back forever. And here we are, 20th century AD, 21st century AD, and what's going on? Still this threat of war, still the fears of someone's going to take something from us, better jump in first and grab my share before someone else does. And this seems to go on forever. But there has been considerable changes made in the last 40 or 50 years or so, and especially over the last 10 years. More and more people are starting to realise that they're not just physical bodies, sustaining their physical bodies from birth to death. More and more people are realising that we are spiritual beings experiencing an earthly life. And as more and more people become aware that they are not their physical bodies and not their minds, but something far, far greater, the world is gradually changing. Now you might think, is it? Just take a look at some of the placings on the various social media sites, and you'll see that this is the case. A few years ago, for example, in the bookshops, nothing on spirituality, nothing on self-development, except maybe the Holy Bible and a few other books like that. Now there's a preponderance of self-help books, realise what you are, feel how great you are, etc., etc. This is expanding exponentially. Exponentially. Now we know that in the English-speaking countries, this is certainly the case. I can't say the same for some of the other nations because I am unable to gain their concepts of their communication, their language. But I expect it's the same throughout, except maybe in those nations where news is suppressed from the general public. Because each of us, I think, each human being knows deep down that there's something more than just their physical bodies and the way they think about things. And I think more and more people are wanting to find out, what's it all about? What's my life about? What's the world about? What's the universe about? And the questions can't be answered except by studying others who have asked themselves these questions, but most of all, going inside ourselves, into the silence, perhaps into meditation. Notice how popular meditation has become in the Western world. just in the last 10, 15, 20 years. Very few people, in the English-speaking countries anyway, practice meditation. If you turn back the clock 50 years, hardly anyone. Now it's commonplace. Of course, there's meditation and there's meditation. There's frittering along the edges and there's going deep within. Not many yet are doing the latter. There's a lot of talk about mindfulness, and that's good. That's good. Being mindful of what we produce with our minds, how we think, and what we manifest into our world. I like the expression in Conversations with God books where God says, what is fate? Fate, from all thought everywhere. From all thought everywhere. In other words, the mass of thought by humanity. The mass of thought by humanity at the moment is based on fear, wanting, not having enough. But there is enough. There's plenty. Just imagine how much waste is going on for things like the armaments industry. The armaments industry. Trillions of dollars wasted, absolutely wasted, all based upon fear. Once that's done away with, more for everyone. Everyone. Anyway, I'm an optimist. I think we will reach this critical mass sometime. And when we do, this world is absolutely united as one human race. Then the big adventures of what's out there, beyond the solar system even, what's out there. This is, I think, the destiny of humankind.